Page 85. I'm gonna page 86.
Page 101 in the PDF.
No, I like page 85 to page 89.
What is the thing called?
Grow your own food.
Can we put it on the TV?
Alright. It's small on the TV. Better just use your phone. Okay. Alright. Do Mataji's have access to this book? You do. Okay. So, you should look at it while we're reading. Okay, I'm not going to read because I'm probably going to talk about it. Start, please. Read.
Grow your own food. Rome, May 25th, 1974. Walk at Villa Broge say, grow your own food. Perform sacrifice and become self-sufficient. King grants land. Taxes are in kind, based on production, paper currency versus barter system, modern mismanagement, Krishna-conscious solution. Stick to your own plan and grow your food. Petroleum-powered transport means bulls sent to slaughterhouse. Devotee, why is it that the rains come in certain parts of the world and in other parts people do not have enough? Prabhupada, no part of the world is nowadays sufficient rain. Because they are not performing yajna. Sometimes it is seen that overrain, overflood, not systematic. But if you perform yajna, there will be systematic rainfall, which you can utilize properly. Yajnad bhavati prajanyaha, Bhagavad Gita 3.4. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, sacrifice. Devotee, Kirtananda Swami says that in New Vrindavan, the weather is changing every year. It is getting nicer there, much more sun, and the winter is not so hard. Atreya Rishi, in New Vrindavan, it is getting better. It's getting better. Prabhupada, yes, because there are so many devotees, the people are still being maintained on account of our chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Devotee, by the grace of pure devotee. Prabhupada, yes, break. Encouraging in our society to take to agriculture to support the center. I'm purchasing land in Vrindavan and Mayapur to become self-sufficient. Whatever production you make, you be satisfied. Little vegetable, little grain, and little milk. That is sufficient. Yogeshwara, in Vedic culture, was the land divided in the sense that some people would receive land free or Bhagavan. This is nice here, this ground. Yogeshwara, the land in the Vedic culture, some of it was.
Okay.
Prabhupada, the land
Go on.
Okay. Prabhupada, the land belongs to the king, and you take land for cultivation, and you pay 25% tax to the king. That's all taxes. If you don't produce, then don't pay tax. Yogeshwara, oh, it wasn't forced that you had to pay so much? Prabhupada, no. Atreya Rishi, you pay 25% of what you have produced. Prabhupada, what you have produced, that's all. Very simple thing. Everyone was engaged producing. There was no necessity, and here the rascals are advising producing bolts and nuts, tires, and drill petrol. They're not producing food. And the so-called government men, they're levying taxes and they're enjoying. They haven't got to produce food. They're killing animals, eating and digesting with wine. And then women. That's all. That is their business. And food price is increasing daily. They don't mind because they will print paper, and to the supplier they will give paper. That's all. Bhagavan.
I was speaking with Ganganath Prabhu when I was in New Vrindavan, and he kind of gave me a real idea of what because communism still exists in Cuba. And Cuba is this tropical island. It's a very, very beautiful place, actually. Very fertile land. Cuba was huge on agriculture before Fidel Castro. And Ganganath was saying that right now Cuba is so poor that people don't even have little rice to eat. It's so bad. The situation is so bad. People are just making ends meet. And I was asking him, but I said, but it's a tropical country. It must be quite fertile. And he was like, oh yeah, our forests are full of fruits and this and that, but And I said, so why don't people just grow their own food? And he said it's illegal.
What?
That was shocking to me. He said you cannot grow your own food. You cannot, forget for growing your own food for selling. You cannot grow your own food for yourself to eat. It is completely illegal. And there are heavy, heavy penalties. And why? Because it's a communist government. Everything is controlled by the government. You will only do what the government tells you to do. You're not allowed to do anything else. And it's so demonic. And he said people grow, but they grow in their own houses. They try to keep it like very secret. If they just have to grow a few tomatoes for themselves. And because there's no power for most part. So I said, so how does, he said, every month, the government rations food. So you're given rations, supplies, so a portion. And you get some bread, a couple of eggs, some rice, something like this. And then a few tomatoes, a few potatoes, whatever. And he said that because there's no refrigeration, because there's no power most of the time. There's just no power. And it's a tropical country, so it never gets cold. And so, whatever tomatoes you got go rotten. Because they can't, there's no way to preserve it. And so people really, really struggle. And this is when I kind of got a real picture of what communist government was. And it's different when Srila Prabhupada says spiritual communism, because here it says land belongs to the king. So the land, even in a capitalist country like the United States, the government actually owns all the land. If they want to take it away from you, they got the means to take it away from you, and they can take it away from you. The difference between the capitalist and communist is that in the communist government, land is all owned, but you cannot, your profession is, so there's only two classes in technically it's supposed to be classless, but what happens in a communist government is you have two classes. You have those in power and those who are lorded over. That's it. And Ganganath was telling me that how he was, when he entered into the country, there was some guy, checking his bags, and he's like, what is those books? What's that all about? What does it speak? And he told a little bit about it. And he thought the guy was going to cause problems, but he became a little interested. And he started reading. Then Ganganath had a few conversations with him. And the main problem the guy had was the four classes, the Varnashram system. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. He just, I can't accept this. This is so these are modern day demons. They won't let you grow your own food in a tropical country where he said you just throw the grain and it will grow. It's just whatever you put on the ground. He said the ground is so fertile. He said everything will grow. You can easily have cows. You can have 3 harvests a year, minimum 3. If you do probably more intense, you could do 4 harvests a year, because there's no winter. It's like and there's a lot of water. 3 growing seasons. 3 growing seasons, minimum. Even in India, you have 3 growing seasons, minimum. Which is why, historically, you'll find that human population has thrived in mostly in tropical places because you can produce more food. You can just grow more stuff in tropical places than you can in temperate. Because the more temperate it becomes, your harvest drops down to 2 harvests. Like here in Atlanta, we could probably do 2 harvests with the growing season we have. But if you go further up north, like maybe Minnesota or wherever, then you just have 1 growing season, 1 long growing, not so long actually. Places like Toronto, they were telling me they've got 2.5 months of good weather, and that's it. I was like, and. So that's why you will find in colder climates people largely used to eat meat. They had to survive on, and so therefore it was considered sinful. And Srila Prabhupada making the point here that in New Vrindavan the weather is changing getting better. Yes, because there are so many devotees. And Srila Prabhupada did say that if devotees populate the planet more and more, the planet will become more fertile and more conducive for growing food. He literally said that. And if initially when I heard that, I thought this is completely wild. How is it possible? How is it possible that there are going to be places on Earth where it won't freeze in winter? But even modern scientists, with their, all their tools, they actually accept that there are several periods on planet Earth where there were no ice caps. There was no ice on the planet at all, ever. There's just entire, hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years where there were no ice caps. The planet was completely warm. So there was plant life from pole to pole all around the planet. And there is proof, because there's proof that there were palm trees. They found palm trees, archaeological remnants of palm trees in Alaska. So if palm trees could grow in Alaska, that means Alaska was like Miami. So anyways, in the capitalist society, people own things, but basically, as long as you can do whatever you want to do to make money, and if you don't, then whatever, you just need to figure out how you're going to live your life. But the government doesn't regulate that. In fact, the government promotes earning of money, making people rich. And so eventually in a capitalist society, what happens is the wealthy become more wealthy and the poor become more poor. And the wealth gap, the divide, becomes wider and wider. This is one of the reasons why communism came, because it was like, we don't want to create this wealth inequality, but it happens anyways. So in the Vedic spiritual communism, all the land belongs to the king. You're given land, and you have to cultivate it. If you cannot cultivate because whatever, there was a famine, there's a drought, then you don't have to pay taxes. Otherwise, you pay tax. Who pay taxes in Vedic culture? Only Vaishyas. Only Vaishyas pay taxes. Nobody else pays taxes. Brahmanas don't pay. Brahmanas get donations. They don't pay taxes. So there's only two classes in Vedic society that own things. One is the Brahmanas and the other is the Kshatriyas. And the Brahmanas generally don't own much, because true Brahmanas, when they get something, they'll donate it off anyways. So Kshatriyas own things, Vaishyas paid taxes, Shudras were helping everybody else. And this was Vedic culture. Okay, we'll continue.
Print more paper. Bhagavan, print more paper. Prabhupada, yes, that's all. That is civilization. Cheating, bluffing, that's all. They don't care for the citizens. As soon as there is some agitation, they declare war so that they can be engaged. Attention is diverted. This is going on. Bhagavan, now with paper money, any country can print any other country's money. Prabhupada, yes, that is going on. Therefore, inflation. Suppose I'm an enemy. I print dollars like that and distribute. So the inflation is there, and the price is increased. If you get money for nothing, you will be prepared to pay anything. Suppose there is one mound of rice. I've got these printed notes. You are offering 10 rupees. I will say 20 rupees. Atrayushi, that's inflation. Prabhupada, that's all. Because I do not earn this money, I have printed. I'm prepared to 20 rupees. So he says, why shall I pay 10 rupees? I must wait for the customer for 20 rupees and hoard it. Even there is sufficient stock, he will not sell. Therefore, the other man who is honest, he is suffering. This is going on. So to stop this inflation, the government must stop this paper currency. Then there will be no more inflation. But that they will not do. They want to cheat people. In God I trust. Take this paper and you'll be satisfied that you have got $1,000. That's all. This cheating is going on. Why should you pay me paper? Give me real dollar in gold. They have none. They haven't got. That's all. They will employ laborers and cheat them by paying these papers. And this rascal will think that I'm getting more money. That's all. Since this world has taken this paper currency, the situation has degraded. Formerly, there was a barter exchange. That was a very good thing. Still, in Indian villages, the remote villages, there is barter. Yes, he has produced some grains, paddy. He will bring to the stockkeeper, and the stockkeeper will give, for so much oil, you have to give me so much paddy. So he will weigh and keep it and give him oil. So he will arrange to sell the paddy. But for the villagers, he brings the paddy and he takes. They require little salt, little oil, some spices, that's all. Otherwise, they've got their own thing. They've got dal, their rice, wheat, everything they have produced. In this way, still there are Indian villages, there's no question of scarcity.
My grandmother said that how in their house they would always have a huge stock of rice and dal and things like that they would buy purchase for 1 month or something, and 1 month or something. And they would always have like plenty of rice and dal, and they'd grow their own vegetables, so there was just no shopping. They were not going shopping. They didn't need to shop. Because generally the grains, you have plenty. You have what's in the house called the storehouse. In houses, they used to have a storeroom. It's called the Bhandaram. It's where you store things. Even temples had it. And then you grow your own vegetables, and spices and oil and these things is what you need to buy occasionally, salt and things like that. And for many of these things, like salt, the vendors would walk around the streets, and they would come on a cycle, because they know, okay, once a month everybody's going to need some salt. So once a month the salt vendor would come right in front of your house. You walk outside the house, you barter something, and then you take the salt. And that was it. And like this, and same thing. So these people, sometimes they are Vaishyas, many times they're just Shudras, employed by the Vaishyas who go around doing this. And so for the same thing, there would be the knife sharpening guy. And he would come once a month. Everybody needs their knife sharpened and things like that. So he'd come outside with this spinning stone wheel. And I've seen it. Like it's a mechanical thing, and you press with your foot, and it's like a pedal. It spins fast. And then you place the knife, and it sharpens the knife, and you give it back. And in this way, they would sharpen their knives, their blades for shaving the head and everything. And like that. And this is kind of, it was a simple, it sounded very simple. It's almost difficult to imagine that they didn't shop, because they didn't have to. They grow their vegetables in the backyard. They ate most of that. And then fruit vendors would come often, I was told. That you saw even in Krishna book. Fruit vendors would come, because fruits were picked. And everybody didn't grow all the fruits in their house, because you can't. So fruit vendors would come around. But yeah, it's kind of...
I didn't get you. How do they get the grains? You said they have a bunch, but...
Oh, they'd go to the marketplace and buy.
It's like once a month.
Yeah, it's once a month. That would be the husband's thing, and he would... and then you would have these laborers bring big sacks of things and storing it in the house. And like that. They'd always have plenty of grain. They never had any shortage of grain. So, yeah.
In Dallas, there's this. In Dallas, there's this Prabhupada disciple called Mishra Bhagavan Prabhu, and he was telling us that Srila Prabhupada, when he came, I don't know if your grandfather had it, my grandfather did, my father also did the thing to shave your face with, it's straight razor. It's just one thing that they have for their life. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And in LA, there's actually a display of Srila Prabhupada's straight razor. So it's just something you just have for your entire life. It's just one straight razor that you just use. But what he was saying was they wanted to know how to make money off of this, so they lobbied the government to say that it can be used as a weapon and it's dangerous. And Because of that, then they started using these Gillette razors
cheap,
and this razors
cheap
and
steel
that razors
things
and
that,
this
you
razors.
know, like, yeah.
But we can say that when people just have that one thing for their entire life, the guy who sharpens the razors also has one thing for the rest of his life. Right? The guy you're talking about.
Well, it's just a stone, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
who
always
sharp,
there.
yeah, you know, and therefore there's no waste. People don't have
Well,
to.
the thing is, not just there's no waste, there's always employment too. Because
Yeah.
the razor guy always knows that he's going to go around and he's going to get his stuff for his month.
Yeah.
So he goes around, he does this once a month, he gets everything that he needs for his survival. Because it's a neighborhood and he walks around and everybody kind of knows, okay, whatever. Fifth day after the waning moon, this guy's out, he's
Yeah.
coming. And so they know the moon cycles like that. Because actually you don't have a calendar, that's how you know time. You see, that's how our Vedic calendar is also. The Vedic calendar, we don't understand. What is Ashtami, Navami, Ekadasi? Ekadasi actually means 11th day. But some devotees are so ignorant, they call it Ekadasi. It's like...
The only servant.
It's
Only servant, Mataji.
so...
Ekadasi.
Ekadashi is the 11th day of either the waning or the waxing moon. We don't even look at the moon, so we don't even know. We can go entire days without seeing the moon in our modern lifestyle, but not in farm life. So that's how people knew time. That's how people knew which day, which month it was.
Yeah. And I even used to see from my grandfather, even until he died, basically, the same barber used to come, and there was a spot in my grandfather's mansion. There was a spot where he would go and sit, and that same guy was coming for decades, and
To
then
shave him.
to shave him.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
very
when he was
common.
done, his son started coming and doing it for my
Yeah,
grandfather.
it's very common.
Same, and he didn't have to go anywhere. There's a place where he could just bathe outside, or
Head shaving was
everything.
always done by a barber, and that's what it was, even for brahmanas.
Yeah,
The
shaving
barber
of face,
would do it,
everything.
and he would come to the house. And this is the thing. It's funny, huh? In modern culture, you go to the store,
Yeah.
but in Vedic culture, a lot of the
store
things
comes
just
to
came
you.
where you were.
Yeah.
Most of it was home delivery, home service. Because they just go around, and they know their customers, and they lived in the same village, and it was a fixed price always,
Yeah.
and then that's all it was. It's okay, this is what it is, and
I mean, to see that this guy's son, he took upon his father's.
well, that's what it
profession,
happens. Because
it
what
was
happens is after
amazing.
some time, when the son grows up, the son will start coming with the father.
Yeah, exactly.
They just start coming, slowly start coming, and the son gets introduced into the business, and the father
Yeah.
retires off.
That's it.
And that's it, and the family goes on.
And Guru Maharaj was even saying this in a lecture recently, that when he was issuing books in Mumbai, way back, in whatever, in 1970, 1980 or whatever, whenever he went to India, he was issuing books in Mumbai. And there, he went inside a merchant's shop. It was like the family shop, And there, the father is, of course, doing the business. And then there's his son, who's maybe 9 or 10 years old, and he's bargaining with the customers just like his father.
Yeah, they do it,
And the people had to take the son seriously. If he had the power of attorney. So this is so artificial, all this stuff which is going on.
Yeah.
Paper currency of civilization.
I just want to recount one story that me and Janardhan were here at Niagara Falls, and I met this one Indian man. He was like super nice, and he didn't have any money, but he was like fried out with this modern civilization, like completely. He moved to America about like 2 years ago, something like this. He was explaining like he's like super suffering this modern civilization and stuff like this, and he had a realization, and he's actually like super sincere. He's like he's never eaten non-veg and like all that whatever. He's like super pious. And then he was saying that this modern civilization, their God is gold, oil, and diamonds. That's what God stands for the modern civilization. Oh, wow. Gold, oil, and diamonds. And he said on the back of the dollar, it says, "In God we trust." The God they're talking about is gold, oil, and diamonds.
It's pretty good.
I was like, wow.
Good realization.
That was a really
It's
good
true.
realization. And then he sounded
So-
he sounded like Prabhupada too. He was like, I thank you very much. He said that to me. He's like, I thank you very much.
Okay.
Bhagavan, the easiest way to manage then is to have everything more or less in small villages. Prabhupada, yes, that was Gandhi's philosophy, village organization. These people, they are attracting villagers to work in the factory and they are exploiting them. Instead of producing food, they are attracted by so-called high salaries to the factory and they are producing bolts and nuts, motor parts. But food is produced somewhere else. But the food producers, they are working in the factory. Therefore, scarcity of foodstuff. But this factory owner, he has got more money. He doesn't care. The poor public, they are suffering. Our philosophy is that you produce your food anywhere. You stay and keep cows, take milk, produce vegetables, food, grains, and chant Hare Krishna. That's all. This is our philosophy. Make your life successful. By becoming Krishna conscious, you become free from all these troubles of material condition. This is our education. Don't be after these motor cars, television, and all nonsense things, sporting, wine, women. Don't be after these. Simply eat sufficiently, keep your health nicely, chant Hare Krishna, realize Krishna, and go back to home. This is our philosophy. Satsvarup. But sometimes, because this materialistic society is so far advanced, you say we cannot actually hope to change that. Hope to change it. Prabhupada, no, that is fact. That is a fact. We cannot hope to change, but we request everyone to chant Hare Krishna. Yogeshvara, in their factory or wherever they are. Prabhupada, yes, because it is very difficult to close the factory. That is not possible. So whatever you have done, it is all right, but you chant Hare Krishna. Then things will be adjusted. We're giving a chance to everyone who was degraded or who was not degraded by this simple method of chanting Hare Krishna. We do not neglect anyone. We do not say, you are neglected, we don't accept you. No, I accept you and I accept others. What is this? Cemetery? No, it is also part of this park. Bhagavan, people tolerate such obvious mismanagement.
Yeah. So here, Srila Prabhupada makes this point. I mean, it's a devotees thing. Prabhupada also says we cannot hope to change. But Prabhupada says that, if you chant Hare Krishna, things will be adjusted. What does that mean? Adjusted means that there will be some change. Adjustment means there is some change. Otherwise, no change means why you have to adjust. There's nothing. Adjust the volume. Leave it the same. Did you adjust it? No. It means you changed. You changed the... So, yeah, I mean, we will not be able to get rid of it absolutely, but Prabhupada did want devotees to live as simply as possible. We read this today also in the Mood and Mission, and to encourage people to live like that. And problem is, if these things are not often spoken, which is why this Varnashram class is so important, because there's focus on speaking about these things. And at least my observation is that in farm communities where they stop speaking about these things, saying that we're just going to talk of Krishna Katha, that's nice, but the problem is the devotees, when they develop material desires, there's no addressing of that in a strong fashion, the way Prabhupada used to address it. And then, it just kind of falls apart. It's one of the reasons, there are multiple reasons why it falls apart. This Varnashram class is very, very, very important, even though a lot that is being spoken at the Varnashram class is not directly Krishna consciousness. It is indirectly Krishna conscious. It is indirectly because it refers to a lifestyle which we adopt. If we adopt, it becomes conducive for us to practice Krishna consciousness. Can one practice Krishna consciousness without adopting such a lifestyle? Yes, it's possible if Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. But most of us, for Tivra Bhakti, we require a certain level of adjustment in our life. Otherwise, it's not possible. So, on one hand, Prabhupada will say things like, I think, what was it we just read today? This trucks. What did he say that? Trucks is death personified. And he said this technology, these machines, they degrade the consciousness. They ruin, they suck the vital energy of man. It's heavy statements that Srila Prabhupada makes. And but then there's other thing. Well, Prabhupada says, well, we can use machine also in Krishna service. So that's there. But the point is that it does degrade one's consciousness if one is not Krishna conscious. The problem is we ourselves struggle to be 100% Krishna conscious. Therefore, we have to reduce as much as possible. It is a hard thing. It's not going to happen overnight. And but we have to try to reduce these modern things as far as possible, as far as practical, with the aim and goal being that devotees have time to chant Hare Krishna. Because when you go overboard on trying to live simple, then you don't have time anyways. Because it's a lot. Because simple living is compensated largely by manpower, doing different things. When you don't have manpower doing and you do everything, then you don't have time to even chant Hare Krishna. There was one farm in Russia where devotees really went all out on cow protection and simple living that they said they didn't have time, that they were so immersed in protecting cows that they said they didn't have time to chant their rounds. Not nice, not good. You're not going to please Krishna like that. It was kind of, and then anyways the whole thing fell apart anyways because actually I didn't pull it up, but it's in the Varnashram section of the Mood and Mission, Volume 2, where Prabhupada says that specifically by chanting Hare Krishna on our farms, by doing kirtan on our farms, Varnashram will be established.
That's ecstatic.
So that really, that quote really amazed me because even before Maharaj left, he was making the point that on our farms, we should have as much kirtan as possible. Ideally he wanted 3 hours of kirtan every day. He wanted devotees come together, sit and chant Hare Krishna. And I was, it sounds a little like, it's 3 hours. It's like you could be working in the fields, doing different things or whatever, and it's like he wants us to sit and chant Hare Krishna. But Prabhupada says there that by kirtan, Varnashram will be established. Because we won't have the right consciousness to make this work. We are either capitalist or communist or some socialist or some nonsense in between it. That's kind of the misconceptions we carry. And then it reveals itself in different ways with different kinds of material desires. So we have to chant Hare Krishna to purify ourselves. And so it's very, very, very important, as Srila Prabhupada is saying, but you chant Hare Krishna, then things will be adjusted. Devotees should have some taste to chant Hare Krishna, and even in kirtan, in chanting their rounds. Kirtan it's really important actually. And to a large extent, in our society today, there's not much kirtan. Especially if you look at congregation devotees, what kirtan do they do? It's like practically nothing. Practically nothing. And then you have these kirtan melas, which are just concerts. So there's not much kirtan. They don't attend regular aartis. There's nothing. So then it's hard. Consciousness becomes, they're practicing, they're devotees, they're trying, but it's very difficult. Give it.
Prabhupada, as long as they will not take to Krishna consciousness, they have to tolerate. What?
It's almost done.
I ain't finished the page.
Oh, we're not doing it page by page, but yeah, sure.
Go for it.
Prabhupada, as long as they will not take to Krishna consciousness, they have to tolerate. They must suffer. That is nature's law. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya, Bhagavad Gita 7:14. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. You cannot escape all these miserable conditions of Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante. If you become Krishna conscious, then you escape. What is the difficulty to become Krishna conscious? Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Simply always think of me. Bhagavad Gita 9:34. We have got nice Krishna, and attend the temple, and we see. And what is the difficulty to think of him always, or chanting, hearing his name? So there is no difficulty in remembering Krishna always. Manmana bhavamad bhaktaha. To become devotee, worship the Lord in the temple, prepare food for him, and take the prasadam. What is the difficulty? The program which we have introduced, where is the difficulty there? But the rascals will not take. That is the difficulty. They will become hippies, but they will not become devotees. Although a better position, this is their misfortune. Duskritina, misfortune. In spite of things being so easy to perform, they will not take to it. On account of misfortune, duskritina. Because they have committed so many sinful activities, it is difficult to accept this. Otherwise, the thing which we are presenting is very easy to be accepted by anyone, even a child. And actually we see, the children there are also dancing, chant Hare Krishna, and very happy. In Dallas, in all schools, children are unhappy, their face, and we see in Dallas, all children, they are so happy. The teacher is happy. The student is happy there. Have you not marked the face in the picture, how they are happy? Did you mark it? Devotee, yes.
Actually, this was observed by Avaduta Chandra also when we went to the farm communities last year. I was traveling with him. And in the farm communities, it's the Gurukul boys who lead, at least, not the morning kirtans. Morning kirtans are generally led by the senior devotees or the adults. But evening Sandhya Arati is almost always led. So the boys do kirtan in the evening. They sit there and do kirtan for, they sit there for 2-3 hours doing kirtan. And they're really fired up. And in Sandhya Arati, they are really fired up. We were there for like 3-4 days. Every Sandhya Arati, it's like a big party. They're such good mridanga players, because they've been learning from small, but I don't understand where they got so much energy to beat the drum, but they do so. It's like they can really play well, and it's simple because see, they're children, they're young boys. They grew up on the farm. They're just so uncontaminated, and so they don't have a million things going on in their head to fog their brains, and they just get into the kirtan. The kirtan is good music. What would you do? You dance. So smiling, dancing, jumping up and down, and playing all these instruments, and it's extremely lively. And it's hard to be morose around them, even if you are mental. You come in there and these kids are all jumping up and down. It puts a smile on your face, because it's like, wow. They're so happy, and it's true. It's really true. When you have Gurukul boys, it brings liveliness to kirtan. It really does. It's really ecstatic, and so yeah. Anyways. And one other thing about this 25%, so the 25% is given to the king as taxes, which is only given by the landlords, right? Like, for instance, this salt vendor who goes around selling salt, the guy who sharpens the knives is Shudra, that's a Paka Shudra profession. So he goes around, he doesn't pay taxes because he doesn't make much. So he doesn't pay taxes. But what's interesting is that everyone would donate a little bit. What they would do, they would go to the temple or when they see sadhus walk around, they beg from different houses, they would give. And other than that, they would go to the temple and they would give something. And so in this way, people had this culture also. That, they would donate. So not only the landlords would give 25%, but they would also donate when sadhus asked. And many temples in North India were also built by Vaishyas, such as Rupa Goswami. He built a temple from a rich merchant in Mathura. And I think Sanatan Goswami also? Yeah, Radha Raman also. Sanatan Goswami also. Radha Madan Mohan was built by another wealthy merchant. Like that. Okay. Actually, maybe we'll, yeah. Well, let's see, I'll just finish the section, I guess.
Devotee, yes, Bhagavan. To accept our way, though they think, that means I have been totally wrong. And they have so much pride that they don't want to change it. Prabhupada, that is their misfortune. Murka yopadesho hi prakopayati na shamyati. A murka, a rascal, when he is giving good advice, he becomes angry. He becomes angry. He does not take for solution of the problem, but he becomes angry. Murkayo padesho hi payaha panam pujan ganam kevalam vishavardhanam. Because they are miscreants like snakes. If you give him milk, his poison will increase. Payafpanam pujan ganam kevalam vishavardhanam. Yogeshwara, when I was at the university, there were two kinds of strikes. One was by the students and the other one was by the professors. Prabhupada, laughing. And what about the clerks? They also strike sometimes. Yogeshwara, they took advantage of the two. Prabhupada, everyone dissatisfied. That's a fact. This is a bad civilization. Yogeshwara, Jyotirmayi Devidasi is giving a course in Paris at one university. And there we can't always have our classes. We are scheduled every week, but we've only had 2 or 3. The whole rest of the time, the university has been closed because the students were striking, practically the whole year. Bhagavan, cars screeches as passing by, so fast and they go nowhere. Prabhupada, he is proud that how fast I can drive. Just see. And where are you going? I'm going to hell, that's all, never mind. That is described in the Bhagavad Gita. Just like the flies, they are coming very forcefully. Where? In the fire.
Whoa, that was good.
They are very busy, and as soon as on the fire, finish, just see, very busy, without inquiring, where am I going so forcefully? But they are going to the fire.
Yeah, we'll finish it. Finish the section.
I'll finish the section, okay. Saswarup, so we should go on the walk. The cars are coming on the road. Prabhupada, so shall we walk, brake, containing 3 passengers, wasting petrol. Similarly, hundreds and thousands and millions of cars and buses are running all over the world, simply wasting petrol. Bhagavan. When there was the oil crisis in the United States, they were giving reports how some person would go in his car, go 10 miles in a big car to buy 1 pack of cigarettes. Sri Prabhupada, stick to your own place and grow your food. There is no question of transport. Little transport is required, that bullock cart. Krishna was being carried on bullock cart. There is no use of petrol. Use simply the bull. They are already there. Utilize them. But they say no, the bull should be sent to the slaughterhouse. Petrol should be used. Atreya Rishi. They try to solve problems by transportation by airplanes, cars. For example, we had the big conference in Montreal. From all over the world came. Tape ends. What is this painting?
So, I
I'm
don't know.
trying to
It's not
figure
on
out.
this book.
Okay.
So, one problem that I see, especially when it comes to cow protection, is devotees' unwillingness to engage the bull. They don't want to engage the ox, engage the bull, and because the truth is they need manpower. You need manpower. See, but if you need to engage oxen, you could probably say 4 oxen managed by 1 man, and then he takes them in turns and works them. So then with every 4 oxen, you need 1 person dedicated to work them year-round, because they can work year-round. And so you use them on alternate days so that you give them breaks. And in that way you work them. But the man always has to be there. And that's basically his work, his service. And where's the manpower? There's no manpower. To hire, it's not worth it because machines are cheaper than that and can work bigger sections for a longer amount of time, and you only have to put some gasoline. You don't have to feed this thing, you don't have to like maintain it and call a vet whenever it falls sick or whatever, and all of that. So even I was up in Canada, and this devotee, he really likes cow protection, and he's trying, and he's not killing the bull or anything, but he's saying, I'm planning to use the bull, but he already has like 15 of them, and he hasn't used them, hasn't trained them, hasn't done anything with them. And I don't know, it's not very practical when you don't. And that's why cow protection can't really happen without a farm community. In the true sense, you can collect donations and keep the cow and the bull like that, but the bull is just staying. The truth is that, like in New Vrindavan, they have 10 cows. How do they have only 10 cows? I don't understand. It's like there's something's off. And this devotee was claiming that in other places and this and that, he had a lot of problems with how cows were being protected in Gita Nagari and things like that. And I don't know what he's saying, if it's true or not. But the thing is, the economics just won't work. So we need manpower to actually make cow protection a reality. Okay, any questions? Anything needs to get brought up? Yeah.
So, what about the bulls? So right when we get a piece of land, we get a cow and a bull, or
No.
You get a cow right away.
No, Guru Maharaj said that cow protection is like deity worship. Cow protection can only be done by someone who basically considers the cows as his own family. It's just like the deity. They're very attached to the cow, to the bull, to the deity. This is one thing I did see up in Canada. This devotee is extremely attached to his cows. For 7 years, he didn't have anybody hired to take care of the cows. He did it himself. He's a wealthy man, but he wouldn't hire any bojo to take care of the cows. He had to find someone who would really care for them. And until then, he did it himself with his daughters and son.
Yeah, in that video, that cow is in ecstasy just looking at him.
He's
the one wearing the black one with the hat, right? Yeah.
And he doesn't mind getting dirty, because you'd get really dirty when you're around cows. He's not, and all that kind of stuff. Nothing. It's extremely dirty, and he loves them. He goes and kisses them and this and that.
They love
them.
Him,
really, they show so. And he has, for the first time, I saw bulls not castrated bulls that weren't violent at all. They were so docile. I was shocked, because the same gear breed, they have bulls in Salem. And they would tell you, do not, they have them in a separate pen. There's two bulls, also separated from each other.
Whoa.
Because they fight with each other. And because the bull, that's what even if you read online, you Google, this all uncastrated bull's got all this, hormones running crazy in its head. And, it's very violent. And it's true, uncastrated bulls can be, because one thing is, when I say bull, that means uncastrated. Ox is castrated. So a bull, it develops really strong, big muscles, huge. It becomes really big. It grows different to a castrated ox, and those things are massive. And he was going up. He said, "Look, I'll do anything to this bull." He was slapping its face.
What?
And he was slapping its face. He touched its private parts.
Whoa.
And he was pulling on its tail. And I was like, Prabhu, what the heck? And the bull was just, because he was like, this is the conception. Because bull means you look at that, what is that Spanish thing? Bullfighting. The thing runs around the street.
Yeah, hold the red cloth.
Huh? It's called something.
Come on, Giri, come on.
I don't remember right now.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's something like that. But you get this impression that the bull is like, it's a violent, almost like evil, unreasonable creature. And I mean, I thought that was true. Because in Salem, he said, no, it's all about how much affection you show them and how you and I could touch them. I seen me for the first time. And I was very surprised. There's some serious psychology that we have completely forgotten. Human race is completely forgotten with these creatures. And that's when this is cow protection, because he would not leave those cows for anything. He forgot his vacations. He forgot everything. He's a very rich man. But when it came to cows, that was it. He said, this is my mother. I'm not going to leave my mother like that. If I need to go somewhere, my mother's taken care, and taken care well. Not like just left like that. So, that's the kind of dedication that's required. Same thing with deity worship. He didn't just bring deities. Devotee, the pujari, will do anything. He'll sacrifice anything to make sure that the deities are worshipped properly. So Guru Maharaj said that we can have cow protection when we have someone like that. That's when you bring cow. Until then, don't bring. It's offense. As Srila Prabhupada was saying, we were reading in Moon Admission, Krishna is Go Brahmana Hita. That means go before Brahmana.
Yeah.
So the cow is so important.
In the lecture, Guru Maharaj says Krishna likes cows more than Brahmanas.
Yeah, so you can't bring cows if basically cow protection requires a level of selflessness. It requires civilized people to take care of cows. This is what it is. It's not a joke. One has to really give oneself to the cows and he had no inhibitions with the cows. He loved it. He loved being around them and he loved serving them. I was very humbled to see his dedication to cows.
Even Amritanam Prabhu, you've been telling his bulls. Do you remember his bulls? His bulls are huge, and they had these big horns.
Huge horns.
And Amritanam Prabhu, like, yeah, you can go lie down on them, go just see. And Giri and I, we were just lying down on the bulls, and they didn't mind at all. Those bulls were,
But it's different because Suresh, myself, Abhimanyu, and Avadut were in the manor, and they were telling, this bull, they forgot to tie it a little bit, and it went and it basically killed one of the other oxen.
Oh my God.
And then injured one of the older cows, and that cow was practically dying. It was basically gave up the desire to live. It was just sitting there. And when a cow doesn't get up, it means that it's preparing to pass away. It's realized that it's too much and just sits there waiting to die. It just gave up the desire to try to take efforts too much. So it just gives up the desire and just sits there and it won't move. You have to roll it, you have to move it. It'll pass through, it'll just stay there. Because it's gotten that old. So this bull had injured that cow, left a gaping gash in. And they had to stitch it together. What happened? I see. That's the kind of bulls, yeah. So there's some psychology there. But anyways, the point is that we're not starting cow protection when we move to the farm immediately. It's tempting, but no. You need someone really, it's their life and soul. It's their life and soul. And in the first few years of cow protection, they're not going to get much help. They're going to have to inspire, train others, and then slowly they'll get some help. But it's always their cows. Okay. Anything else? Who's on Aarti?
Ali already went.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Giri and I, we were just recently also in New Vrindavan, and we got there just in time for the milking
Oh,
of
in
the
the morning?
cows in
Yeah.
the morning. They do at 7
Use a
a.m.
machine.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There was one devotee that was doing it by hand,
Oh, there was, huh? In the evening there was none.
And-
Okay.
and you could see like the difference because there was one devotee that was doing it by hand, and then there was one devotee that just hooked up the machine. They have like a suction thing, and you could visibly see the difference in how the cow was
Oh, really?
feeling with the devotee that was milking it by hand, and then with the machine that like they were doing, like the cow with the machine almost seemed like they were like falling asleep.
Wasn't
But-
just interested, just like
Yeah, but like
Just
the
there.
one that was doing it by hand, and that was like, it was such a big difference actually. And like you were saying, there's this whole psychology with humans and the cows, which we have so much lost the touch
yeah.
of actually.
I mean, that's the thing. We still, I mean, we can only take care of cows and start having cows when we start understanding that they're persons and not animals, that they're actually mothers and fathers, and then we respect and treat them in that kind of a royal fashion. But we come from a culture where we don't even know how to treat our parents. So, that's how fallen we are. So it's a learning thing. We have to learn, we have to develop. It will make us, cows will make us civilized. They really, they're quite amazing creatures. Really amazing.
Yeah, there's this cow in Michigan. They have a farm there. The cow's name is Yashoda, and she had a calf about over 5 years ago, and they got her from some like rescue farm, and at the farm they were saying that she was like never gonna have a calf again, or that her body was basically unable to have a calf. But then when she came to this farm, she had a calf, and it's been like 5 or 6 years, and she's still giving milk.
Yeah.
Because the devotees show her so much love.
Yeah, this devotee was saying, his name is, Vishal, that's his name, Vishal Das. So he was saying, Vishal Prabhu was saying that, he said, if you treat the cow nicely, you become its calf. And the cow will give milk for you. And he was talking about how his cows, gear cows, are giving milk way more and way longer than the standard gear cow. And I know because he was telling me these months, how many months it's giving and how many liters of milk it's giving. I was like, how is this? What is this? It's like all the numbers are completely crazy. But he's saying, this is proof. I am showing you this is possible. And it was really nice. When you see something direct in front of your eyes, it's like, it's really amazing. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam. Janardhan, can you turn those?